Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gamestack Podcast on We Just Love Games Network. I'm your co-host, Vendertron. Joining me this evening is Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hi.
How
Hi, you guys.
How you doing?
I'm terrible. I'm terrible, Vendor.
I am also terrible. We have not done a show for like a month, and it's terrible, and I hate it, and I hate everything right now.
I'm so grouchy. I'm still dealing with COVID symptoms. Like it's a bad day. It's been bad at work. It's been bad everywhere. Um, yeah. I'm not great. I'm not great.
You can rest assured that this is the best place of the internet on a Friday evening. Things are not
I'm
bad.
really happy to see you.
Things are not bad on the show. They may be bad and terrible in life, but you can always find a place listening to GameStack Podcast, and it will put you right back in to the happy zone. You are listening to episode 191, Corrected. And we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. Before I hop into that, we are sponsored by Oak & Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show, and we will shout you out. Leave us a little review. We always love messages. And if people want to leave messages elsewhere, Shalene, how can they do that?
Well, we have an email. You can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. Alternately, we have a Discord server, and that's probably the best place to get in touch with us. You can join that Discord server by clicking the link on our Twitch page at twitch.tv/wejustlovegames. And that link is live whether or not the show is. So definitely check that out. I'm sorry, my voice is a little messed up. And I'm also like using a cough drop right now because I'm trying not to cough directly into all of your ears.
Oh, I just thought you had switched to one of those chainsaw diets where you just eat chainsaws for a week. Anyways, I don't know where that was a terrible joke.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
In other news, look at this adorable doggy Halloween costume that I got.
Oh my gosh, that is so
Finley.
cute.
I got it at the dollar store for $4.50. And his thing is popcorn. He doesn't eat doggy treats.
He likes popcorn.
His treats are popcorn. And he loves popcorn. And so
is he gonna be really confused when you dress him up as a popcorn?
Well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually know what popcorn is. So I think we'll be okay. But it's pretty cute for $4.50 at the dollar store. Yeah.
That is adorable.
I am really looking forward to next week, Shalene, because everybody's going to be posting in our Discord their Halloween costumes, and hopefully in the Companions channel, their companion Halloween costumes. If you are listening to the show live, please show us your costumes. We'd love to see them.
I want to see especially pet Halloween costumes.
Yes.
Like absolutely desperately.
Yes.
I just really, really do.
I agree. So, yeah. And how can people do that?
Post them in Discord is my recommendation. I've already described how to join the Discord, so I'm not going to do it again.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me. We do have some news.
Sorry, I'm so grouchy.
No, it's okay. I would have done the same thing. So, yeah. Yeah. Also, hello to everyone coming into the chat. Thanaknak, who we haven't seen for quite some time.
And Helen Fuzzlefur, we also have not seen in quite a while. So
welcome, come in.
And Taz, of course, is a regular, and we're just as happy to see you, even though you're here every time. We love you.
The podcast stapler.
He's one of the VIPs.
Yeah, anyways, we got some news. We actually have quite a bit of news to cover. We do have some gameplay. We're going to talk about the stocks too, because the news is so bumpy this week. And we do actually have quite a bit to catch up on over the last few weeks. We apologize, obviously, for not having done a show for quite some time, and also not having done
Also, for not having posted a show in a while. I apologize for that too. I'm going to try really hard to get at least one posted this weekend, maybe two.
great. And also apologies to our TFS listeners. The final episode is coming. It is scheduled for November 9th, and it'll be Shalene
First, November 1st,
11th. November
11th.
11th.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure it's the 11th.
I thought it was November 1st.
I'm available 18th or something else.
November 1st.
Jess says the 10th and 11th are good for her. And then
November 1 is good for me.
okay.
And Dave says I'm good for either tomorrow or the 1st.
Okay, first. Yes, first.
Shalene's
Sorry.
not feeling good. Let's aim for November 1st.
So, next week will be our final episode of TFS. This is
We're the worst. Why does anyone still listen to this?
This is a testament to how jumbled our lives are right now. So, yeah. Anyways, November 1st, hopefully, we'll have Dave Chafins, we'll have Jessica Starr, hopefully we'll have Rick, and Shalene and myself will be talking about that final episode of TFS, and also some of the news that have dropped in the last couple of weeks about season 2 of that other Fallout show. So very exciting. Hopefully you can join us next Friday.
Indeed. I'm excited to do the finale episode.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good, and it'll be nice to have everybody there joining us. We're not.
I guess we should double check.
We're just looking at our calendars and.
I guess we should double check with Jess because it sounds like she may not be 100% available. So
yeah, because she only said 10. She only said 10 and 11. It's really hard. Yeah.
Anyway, news.
Just go. Just go.
This just in. It's the news, you guys. Now, I apologize. I'm going to do my best with this, but I got stuck in traffic for like a really long time. I got here like 5 minutes before the show went live. So I haven't seen any of this news.
These are also my favorite episodes of Gamestack, when Shalene flies by the seat of her pants.
So we're gonna figure it out together. We're gonna learn about this news together.
That slight pause was the giveaway that you're not actually wearing pants right now, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Whoever wears pants, I mean, in their own home, pants in my own home. Are you kidding? Let's talk about this piece of news from Eurogamer.net. What is it? Microsoft CEO's pay rises 63% to $79 million, despite the devastating year for layoffs. 2,550 jobs were lost in 2024. This article is by Tom Phillips, who is the editor-in-chief of Eurogamer. Microsoft boss Satya Nadella will earn a wallet-busting $79.1 million this financial year. That's up 63% from his compensation for 2023. And this huge boost in pay in both cash and stock was announced by Microsoft. This comes after an overall positive year for Microsoft's revenues, but it's been a very turbulent year for its employees. 2024 has seen 2 mass layoffs at Microsoft, with 1,900 staff laid off in July, before a further 650 Xbox-specific employees were shown the door in September. Regardless of this, Microsoft shares are up. The company's market value is higher than $3 trillion, as it works to capitalize on the rise of AI. Microsoft moved to shut down 3 Bethesda gaming studios in June: Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, which has now been revived by another company. I believe that was actually Tencent that bought them, and AlphaDog. And but writing in Microsoft's annual report, which was released at the same time that his salary boost was announced, Nadella painted a rosier picture. He stated, "We are bringing great games to more people on more devices. With our acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, which closed October 2023, We've added hundreds of millions of players to our ecosystem. We now have 20 franchises that have generated over $1 billion in lifetime revenue, from Candy Crush, Diablo, and Halo to Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, and Gears of War. And with Xbox Cloud Gaming, we continue to innovate to offer players more ways to experience the games they love, where, when, and how they want. Finally, we brought 4 of our fan favorite titles to Nintendo Switch and Sony PlayStation for the first time, as we continue to extend our content to new platforms. It always feels gross to me when the CEOs get a raise, but the people get just absolutely dumped on. I think it's so important to take care of the employees, and I'm not really anyone's direct supervisor right now, but I have been a boss. And to me, the most important thing about being someone's supervisor is making sure that your staff is taken care of first. And seeing this kind of thing just grosses me out. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know about you, Shalene, but I kind of like my oligarchy with a side of poverty. Um, but, you know, in all seriousness, this, I think, Microsoft did lay off a bunch of people. And we're still seeing a lot of mass layoffs out of big tech coming from the pandemic, from the massive amount of people that were hired. I think Microsoft hired, what was it, something crazy like 50 to 60,000 people during the COVID-19 pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
which is just insane. That's insane, right? That's so many people. Um,
Well,
but
I guess if you think about it in terms of the numbers, his boost in pay wouldn't have taken care of all of those employees.
well, no, I mean, I'm still getting to the point of the
I'm
bonuses and the pay
sorry, shouldn't have
raises,
cut you off.
right? So first of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that layoffs will still happen, and I think maybe this is, I mean, the pay raises and the bonuses were always going to happen with these Microsoft
Mm-hmm.
CEOs, but it looks bad optically when it's happening on the eve of layoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could have just foregone that for a while and then got a more chunkier pay raise later on when it looks better. At the end of the day, the rich people are going to get richer because that's how the world works. But when will it end, right? Genuinely.
So here's
Profits
the
profits for stockholders can't increase year over year indefinitely, right? Do these
so here's the
companies
thing that I'm
like
looking at. Oops, are you still there? Did I
yeah,
get cut off?
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
still
I'm
here.
sorry. I'm having computer issues continually, but I'm back. But I was just thinking about the numbers here. And his pay rise was to $79 million. Um, so that's his current salary. And I think they stated that there were 28,000 layoffs. Is that, or 2,800 layoffs? 2,500 layoffs. So let me redo my math.
That is so wild. $1 million would set me for life. 1
So
million. Just one.
yes, true. But to pay 2,550 people, 2,550 people, $70,000 would cost $178,500,000. So
So
really,
he could pay like wow.
so say that we cut Satya Nadella's pay to just $1 million. So $78,000 or $78 million, I'm sorry. $78 million, and we're going to divide that by a salary of 70,000, which I know is I have no idea how much you make at Microsoft. But say it's 70,000. And that's not even counting benefits, payroll
That's like
tax, that kind of thing.
1,200 people.
That is 1,100 people that could have their jobs could have been saved.
Like that's
So
ridiculous. And he'd still be making $1 million a year and probably living a very comfortable life.
mhm. I just find it interesting. And like if I was Mr. Nadella and they were gonna pay me $79 million, I would probably say, yes, please. Thank you very much. Um, I'll be in Tahiti if anyone needs me. Um, but
I
anyway, that's just some different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, we still have this issue of mass layoffs, and they're still happening, and CEOs are still taking massive fat checks. And
Ooh.
like, when is it going to be, you know, when is it going to be enough?
Archon brings up a really excellent point. He says Nintendo was the only one to do it right. When the Wii U failed, the CEO took a pay cut. Do you remember
It's true.
that?
Yeah,
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 we reported on
yeah,
that on this very show.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, do these companies not see the same future that the rest of us see? Like, they will literally go bankrupt attempting to make more money for rich people every year than if they had just continued to employ middle class populations.
They're not going bankrupt though. They have one of their best financial years ever.
But they will go bankrupt.
You
Or,
think?
well, their stocks cannot increase year over year indefinitely. Something's going to
Mm-hmm.
bust eventually. And then, so really, it kind of makes you wonder when these CEOs get these fat checks, right? Are they
Mm-hmm.
stockpiling funds? Do they know what's coming?
Yeah, getting ready.
Right?
Maybe. Could be.
So, but I mean, things aside, investors and board members and CEOs and executives don't really care about the long term profit of any company as long as they can sit on a board and collect a check, right? They don't have to do any work. They're literally parasites sucking the lifeblood out of people's own innovations, which is the game developers. It's gross.
Wow.
Capitalism at its finest. I mean, I know I sound like a communist, but I mean, where do you draw the line between ultra rich plutocrats and, working for middle class families? Like, where do you draw the line?
I would like some popcorn now.
Here you go.
Blame
Yeah,
Rousseau.
have some popcorn.
Blame Rousseau in the chat says those bunkers won't pay for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways,
Speaking of
I'm gonna get off
bunkers,
my soapbox
um,
now about that.
speaking of bunkers, though, I feel like this is probably a pretty good segue, right? Because we're talking about Saddam Hussein now. Didn't he have a bunker?
I
Didn't he?
bet
Was
I
there?
bet you never
Yes.
expected. I bet you never expected you'd be talking about Saddam Hussein right now on the show
I did not expect
in
to talk
in
about
the
Saddam
end of
Hussein.
October of
The year of
2024.
our Lord 2024. We are talking about Saddam Hussein on Gamestack podcast because, of course, we are. This is an ABC News article by John Gambrell of the Associated Press. Kuwait has banned Call of Duty: Black Ops 6, likely because it features Saddam Hussein in the 1990s. Kuwait is a small nation in the Middle East, and they have banned the release of this game, which features the late Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein and is set in part in the 1990s Gulf War. Um, Kuwait has not publicly acknowledged banning the game, which is, of course, a tentpole product for Activision, and it's set to be released today. So is anybody playing this in the chat? Let us know. I know you're not playing it, Bender. It's been a while since you played a Call of Duty, I think. Um,
Yeah, it's been
Probably
like
since it was
over 10
called
years.
Call of Duty. That was it. No colons, no numbers.
I stopped playing when
Um,
the duty jokes wore off.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last one that I played was like Modern Warfare 3, the first one. Um, because we've had at least two of those. But anyway, of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, we're on 6 now, is a first-person shooter. It follows CIA operators fighting at times in the United States and also in the Middle East. And the gameplay trailers for the game show burning oil fields, which was a painful reminder for Kuwaitis who saw Iraqis set fire to those fields, causing vast ecological and economic damage. Iraqi troops damaged or set fire to over 700 wells. There are also images of Saddam and Iraq's old three-star flag in the footage that's been released by developers ahead of the game's launch. The multiplayer includes what appears to be a desert shootout in Kuwait called Scud, after the Soviet missiles Saddam fired in the war. Another is called Babylon, after the ancient city in Iraq. Activision acknowledged in a statement that the game has not been approved for release in Kuwait, but they did not elaborate. All pre-orders in Kuwait will be canceled and refunded to the original point of purchase. We remain hopeful that the local authorities will reconsider and allow players in Kuwait to enjoy this all-new experience in the Black Ops series. Kuwait's media ministry did not respond to requests for comment from the Associated Press. What do you think? What do you think of this?
Well, I mean, I'd hedge a bet that they see it similarly to the way Germany bans Hitler's appearance in
Mm-hmm.
various media.
I think you can't have swastikas in video games in
Yeah,
Germany.
but I know that there are some games out there featuring, the killing of Hitler.
It's painful history, but
Right? Like what is it? Hearts of Iron? You can play as Hitler in Hearts of Iron, I think.
really?
Yes, yes.
Ooh. Is that one of those like Civ style games? I forget what they're
I
called
think
now.
so, but the German version of the game, you can't play as Hitler, and the
Interesting.
swastikas are replaced with something else. Hopefully,
Hmm.
like pictures of kittens or something. But
That would be hilarious. If I was a game dev and they told me you have to replace a swastika with something else,
yeah, yeah,
I would make it be like a peace sign
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, like pork
yeah,
dumpling or something,
a pork
like
dumpling.
a
That
soup
sounds
dumpling,
delicious. Soup dumplings. Think I
mm,
know what I'm doing after the
right?
podcast.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
have
Does
mixed
it?
feelings about this. I can understand why they would not want this because this isn't very distant history. Um, but I can understand why they wouldn't want this, but also it is just a video game. I don't know.
I don't know. I think
I think it's silly. I think it's silly. Let parents decide, let people decide.
parents. Well, I mean, we've talked about this on the show. Parents don't decide though.
True, true.
They're completely absolved of any responsibility when their kid steps into a computer game
Hmm.
or a video game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. But I'm no expert, but I kind of get the impression that Kuwait just doesn't like that Saddam guy for some reason.
Can't imagine. Can't
Yeah,
imagine why. It's almost like he caused irreparable damage to their country.
and
Almost just
every
like that.
other country. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun
Um,
times.
that's
I mean, now I
exciting.
want to play it because I want to like throw a grenade in that hole
Isn't
in the
it
ground
funny?
and just
Because
watch body parts fly
wow, vendor, wow,
out.
okay. Um,
I told you I'm harboring a little moodang today.
I just I think it's so bizarre that I remember seeing these things unfold on the news, and now it's historical enough that it's in a video game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because video games traditionally don't really cover the recent history, but that feels like recent history to me. But it's plainly not. The
Well,
90s were almost 30 years ago.
let's hop into our next news article, Shalene, because I think this is relevant to the conversation.
Sure,
Um,
let's do it.
I'm not sure if you heard about this, but Grizzly Games Limited has announced that they are doing a game about the ongoing Ukraine war with multiple endings. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard of. Tell me about this.
So, I mean, it's a pretty common trope for studios to build video games around real life war stories, right? Where we're definitely not
Yeah, this is a war that's still going on. We don't know how it ends
yes.
yet.
That is correct. Yes. So, that's the crux of it, right? So, um
Wow.
yeah, Grizzly Games is making a bold move here by creating a video game about the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, or the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which was known to be escalated in 2022. The post was the announcement on the PlayStation Store with a game titled Ukraine Warfront Battle Lines. It has no release date yet and also no image apart from the banner art. According to Grizzly Games' limited description, Ukraine Warfront Battle Lines will plunge players into the reality of conflict in the ongoing war in Ukraine. Apparently, the game will also feature strategic gameplay with a gripping narrative. At the same time, it will also navigate the conflict through the eyes of civilians and soldiers alike. And it can be expected to be similar to a strategic RPG game or perhaps even a simulation like this War of Mine. The game will also have a morality system and promises to feature multiple endings based on your choices and decisions in the game's storyline. It's not clear, though, whether those endings will also simulate or predict the end of the war itself. In any
I feel really
case,
weird about this.
yeah, in any case, the game isn't the first game under Grizzly Games Limited portfolio to do something like this. The German-based game developer Studio has released other popular titles prior, such as Thronefall, Islanders, and Superflight, but they are also a small studio with only 3 developers. So most of their games have been simple, casual, minimalistic, but challenging. So you can expect this new Ukraine Warfront battle lines to fall under the same mold. But I suspect that they're going to be coming under fire for their decision to move this game into production. What do you think, Shalene?
Well, I have complicated thoughts about this because I did just finish saying that, like, hey, release the game. It's just a video game. But also, I feel weird about this because people are still like actively being bombed, just trying to
Yeah,
live their lives
yeah,
over there.
yeah.
So it feels a little disrespectful, but also at the same time, if they do this well, it could also be an educational tool, to show people, maybe to help people have a little bit more empathy for what's going on in Ukraine. I don't know.
I think I don't know how I feel about it because on the one end, you have families, citizens, civilians being ripped away from their homes,
Mm-hmm.
watching their loved ones get murdered and worse, um, having to flee their country, and soldiers fighting on the front lines and dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then in these privileged, less war torn areas of the world, we have wealthy children, privileged children playing that scenario out on a computer as it's happening.
It's
That's
complicated and I
uncomfortable. That
have
is
mixed feelings
uncomfortable.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I
I don't know if like you're right. Is there a necessity to provide this media in such a way to be able to educate people in real time?
mhm. It
I
really could be a valuable tool for that. But
I feel like it's
I
outweighed by the
think it's
level of
just gonna
disrespect that comes from.
it's just gonna depend on how it's done, I think. I feel like I can't give a final judgment on whether or not this is gross until I've seen it. I feel like I would have to play through a bit of this game before I could really pass judgment on whether or not it should exist, basically. You know,
I think what's going to happen is it's going to be released and then it's going to be reviewed into the ground.
I think it will never be released. I think that they're going to get roasted.
Probably.
Absolutely roasted. Yeah.
Weird
We'll
news.
see what
Okay, what
happens.
else have you
Yeah,
got
definitely follow up
up
on
your
that.
news sleeve?
Who knows? Let's see. Baldur's Gate 3 developer. Okay, this is a Dual Shockers article by Dashel Ronaldo. Baldur's Gate 3 dev says that Ubisoft's broken strategy forced the Prince of Persia team shutdown. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was an excellent entry into the Metroidvania genre, which earned loads of praise from fans and critics alike. And as we have recently learned, Ubisoft has decided to completely disband the team. And why would they do this? It states that they refuse to let the team continue on a sequel because it would cannibalize the sales of the original, because they are hoping for a long-time sales tick for the Lost Crown instead of using this team's talent on a follow-up game. This plan is an affront to any gamers who are hoping that Ubisoft would try to facilitate this now well-respected team. And sadly, Ubisoft is making a decision that puts technical sales data over the quality of the products. And Baldur's Gate publishing directors Michael Dowse stated in a recent post on X that this entire push behind Ubisoft is such a broken strategy. Um, he points out that Ubisoft may not have tried to help the project become the breakout success we would have hoped for. And although the team put together an excellent game, there is a good chance that Ubisoft simply failed to sell it. So interesting. I I think it's really funny that they've built a whole article about what an unrelated game developer has to say about this Prince of Persia team shutdown.
I mean, it's insane to me how
It feels like an interesting.
it's insane to me how big companies don't do more to retain the staff that produce quality products, right? But
Mhm,
like, do they not see the link between experience and profit? Like,
mhm.
if you fire your experienced developers and hire inexperienced nobodies, then they won't know how to make good games. And
I feel like this
you can't just
is
hire any old person off the street and say make them good and make us lots of money, and you have 4 years to do it. You know,
this is something we've been seeing with like the Microsoft layoffs and the studio closures. Studios release a great successful game that does well, it reviews well, and then the team gets disbanded.
yeah,
So
yeah.
even making a successful game is no longer, it's no longer a guarantee that you're going to get to keep your job, that you're going to get to have your team stay together. The development game development industry is so volatile that I don't understand why anyone does it. Like I understand having passion for what you do, but I also think that for me personally, my desire for stability would never allow me to enter a field like that.
Oh, absolutely. And like they're taking the McDonald's method to hiring staff, but making a video game is not just an art, it's also a science. And
That's for sure.
you know, it's not you're not flipping burgers.
Mhm.
And there's a whole human resource side to it. Like a team has to start off making something small and learn from the errors and experience that together as a team while building that team environment and working up to larger, more ambitious projects, right? You can't just expect to throw a bunch of randoms into a,
Mhm.
you know, the video game soup and expect every few years that there's going to be something great like the next Elden Ring or Red Dead Redemption 2 to be produced. Like it's not going to happen. And that's I think
Soup.
kind of what is fueling subscriptions too.
You may be right about that. Yeah. I
All
do
like
want to.
it goes back to our first article about CEOs making more money.
Yes.
It costs them
Yes.
less money to hire the new nobodies than it does to keep the experienced artist slash scientist video game developers in the seats, right? Because they make a good product, the company makes a ton of money. They're asking for more money. They want a raise because I did that.
Hmm.
I worked really hard at that. I deserve a raise. Nope,
Hmm.
sorry, we gotta lay you off. We didn't make enough money this year. Shh, don't
It's
tell him.
horrible.
Don't tell him.
Horrible.
Bob's getting another $4 million raise.
Mhm. So just to briefly bounce back to our discussion about the game set during the Ukraine war, Pelin Fuzzle in chat says it might not be educational, but potentially sensationalize certain perspectives or inflame certain people who have a severe bias against people of a certain background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a really good point, and I just felt that that was worth shouting out, even though
Well, and
we've
this is
moved
the
on
thing,
from
like,
that.
does it do a disservice to the current world events around the Ukraine
Hmm.
war? Like, are we disrespecting the people who are giving their lives for their country?
I do
Regardless
think
of, you know,
if this game, if this war was happening in New Mexico, and somebody was making a video game about a war that was here in New Mexico, directly affecting my life, my loved ones, I feel like I would be furious about it. And I don't know, but it is complicated. It's a complicated topic.
yeah. What's that famous movie that was filmed in New Mexico?
There have been so many movies
Is
filmed in
it
New Mexico.
Fort Apache? Is that the one?
I don't know, but there have been a ton of movies filmed here. So you can't just say, what's that famous movie that was filmed in New Mexico?
That's
We give
true.
really good tax breaks, so loads of people film here.
Well, and it's a cool place to film.
There are
Wasn't
a lot of neat places.
Book of Eli was filmed in New Mexico, wasn't it?
Yeah, Book of Eli was filmed like half an hour from my hometown.
Was Fallout filmed in New Mexico? I
No,
wonder.
Fallout was filmed in Namibia.
Really?
Yes, that's I think there were some some domestic
Some,
filmed
not
scenes,
extra. Sorry.
domestically filmed scenes, not terrestrially filmed scenes. But I think a good chunk of the wasteland sections of Fallout were filmed in Namibia. So
Other people weighing in the chat, Sulior says, I have no idea how to feel about that. RE, the Ukraine war game.
yes. Um
You know what? Here's what's gonna happen. The game's gonna come out. President Zelensky's gonna play it, and he's gonna be like, "It's great. I love it. I thought it was awesome." That's exactly what's gonna happen, Shalene.
oh my gosh. I don't think President Zelensky has time to be playing video games right now.
Probably
I,
not.
I think he's a busy fellow. But yeah, if you did have time to play video games, he might check out Roblox. Because Roblox is a video game.
Oh God.
This is a Eurogamer article by Matt Wales. I did the best I could, okay? Um, Roblox has announced some policy changes for preteen users amid ongoing accusations of child safety failures. So, I don't know what that means. Let's dive into it. Roblox Corporation has announced changes to the child safety policies that will impact the way that preteen users can interact with the platform. This move follows persistent accusations that the company routinely fails to protect its predominantly young player base, and more recently, a damning report that called Roblox an X-rated pedophile hellscape that exposes children to grooming, pornography, violent content, and extremely abusive speech. Oh my goodness. What are we Oh my goodness. What are we doing on Roblox, you guys? Oh my. Sounds like we definitely need some better safeguards. Um so back in July, Bloomberg revealed that Roblox had reported 13,316 instances of child exploitation last year, and that more than 24 people had been arrested for abusing minors following contact in game. Wow, that's terrible. That is really bad news. And of course, there is also the argument that parents should be parenting their children. But yes, there should also be safeguards in the game. Um, there was also a report in August from Hindenburg Research that accused Roblox of deliberately inflating player numbers to investors. And in both cases, Roblox hit back at the accusations, calling the Hindenburg Research report simply misleading and insisting that the Bloomberg article contained glaring mischaracterizations. But despite the protestations, the company has now announced numerous changes to child safety policies. As reported by The Verge, Roblox sent out an email to parents announcing that children under the age of 13 will need parental permission to access chat features by default. That feels obvious to me. While children under 9 will additionally need permission to play experiences with a content maturity rating of moderate, which can include moderate violence or crude humor. Roblox says these restrictions will be automatically lifted as users reach certain age milestones, assuming that parents haven't already made the changes manually. Additionally, Roblox is introducing a new type of account for parents next month that, when linked to the child's account, will let them update parental controls from their own device and get insights on their child's online activity and friends. The company calls these changes, which follow updated guidelines introduced in July, requiring creators to label in-game experience based on content types rather than age, part of its commitment to making the platform one of the safest online environments for our users, particularly the youngest users. So that is, it sounds like they're making some steps in the right direction to implement some positive safeguards and some tools for parents to help them monitor what their kids are doing online. But in my opinion, at the end of the day, it is all about the parents taking the time to do that monitoring.
So Roblox is a American corporation, right?
I don't know.
They're based out
I know
of
absolutely nothing about Roblox.
San Mateo in California. They were founded in like I think 2004 or something. Um, I think right now they have like 2 to 3,000 employees. But why is the FCC not stepping in here?
They may not see the need.
What? I mean, there's a number of legal disputes all the way dating back to what 2015, trademark infringement, among other things.
I can't tell you,
Now,
Thunder. I
one of
don't
the
know.
things that's important about the context of this news article, Shalene, is the other recent news article about the Roblox, um, the death of an infant. Florida woman is being accused of encouraging a 10-year-old child to drop their sibling, who was an infant, which ended up killing the child. And this is purported to have been done all through Roblox. Yeah, yeah. So I don't think we have seen the last of this controversy. I think we're going to see some major lawsuits coming in the next few months against Roblox. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of regulators stepping in to investigate the company a little bit more closely. But I think it's also worth noting that as of this year, Roblox introduced new AI technology into their platform. That the sole purpose of um, this AI generator was to make content creation happen more quickly, in terms of character design and world design and things like that. So I wonder if maybe that has a role to play as well in some of that. But
Bro, I
yes,
hate this. I hate everything about this. How dare you put this into my brain? Okay? This is
yeah,
all horrible.
yeah. Archon is saying I heard the child wasn't dead. I should clarify. Um, the woman instructed the 10-year-old child to kill the infant by dropping him on the floor. Um, but
Do
I don't. There
that.
hasn't been any news sources that have reported that the child died. I should correct myself there.
Was it a joke? Was she trying to joke with him?
Well, so
No, I'm getting a no from the in-studio producer.
Gulf
She was
Coast.
actually trying to cause this child to murder his baby
Well,
sibling?
usually when Florida precedes woman or man, you can generally assume that crazy stuff is about
But
to be
no,
read in
no,
that
no, no.
article.
This you can't compare this to ordinary Florida man stuff. You can Florida man stuff is like when I saw this video on Instagram of a man gently feeding slices of pizza to an alligator who just delicately took those slices of pizza and enjoyed them. That's what I expect from Florida man craziness. This is it's evil. This is pure undiluted evil.
Mhm. Tara Alexis Sykes was arrested on Friday and charged with attempted murder while engaged in aggravated child abuse, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office said on Facebook. An arrest report alleged that Sykes communicated with her 10-year-old daughter on the online gaming platform Roblox and instructed her on various methods to kill the infant. The court document said Sykes is related to the infant, and she instructed the 10-year-old to drown the infant in the bathtub, burn the infant with scalding water, and drop the infant on the floor. Uh, Gulf Coast Kids House contacted the sheriff's office Thursday about the 2-month-old infant who had suffered serious injuries after being dropped on the kitchen floor by the 10-year-old sibling. Um, Gulf Coast Kids is a child advocacy center where forensic interviews and medical exams of children suspected of abuse are conducted. And the arrest report alleged that the 10-year-old picked up the infant after he became fussy and was walking into the kitchen with him to find an adult when the baby fell. The foster father picked up the baby and took him to the hospital where doctors said he had a skull fracture. So this is pretty serious. Even, I mean, it's a good thing that this infant has not died. Very good. But still sustained serious injuries, head injuries nonetheless, during a particularly very precious developmental time in their development, right? So, I mean, I think that this warrants further investigation um, on Roblox's the way they conduct business and produce products, and they need to regulate their they need to regulate better. Like what is going on?
I feel absolutely sick right now.
Mm-hmm.
This
That's her
is one
own
of the
child.
worst things I've ever heard.
Her own child. Her own child. Yeah. Sheriff Chip W. Simmons said he was truly disturbed by the allegations and that he thought anyone could think like this, let alone instruct these acts to be carried out. He said, I've been in law enforcement for over 40 years and I've never ever seen anything quite like this. He said in a statement, there's something really wrong with this person.
We're moving on now.
Yes. Just very quickly, Sykes is being held without bond. And the Lewis Sheriff spokesperson said that she did not foresee the 10-year-old being charged, but the case does remain under investigation.
We're moving on now, and we're never talking about this again.
Yes. Next, what else you've got?
I don't know. I hope it's better. I hope it's better news. You're not allowed to do the news anymore. Like next time,
this is a serious
like
conversation. Roblox is under fire.
next time that I get stuck in traffic, we're just gonna make up our own news. That's what we're gonna do. Disc editions, according to Insider Gaming, this article by Mike Straw, disc editions make up 82% of all PS5 console sales. I apologize for blaming you for the bad news, vendor. I'm very upset. I'm very upset. I apologize. Disc editions make up a majority of the console sales in the United States. This is according to the latest data from Circana. And that puts digital only consoles at just 18% of the total sales. I find that really interesting because Sony is pushing the discless console so hard. And
I love it. I love
the
this.
Pro version is all discless. And I really think it just comes down to the fact that game companies can charge us the same amount of money and not have to incur the costs of providing a physical product.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to ship it, they don't have to print it, they don't have to no distribution, no manufacturing, no cost of materials. It makes sense. They would make a lot more money if we all switched to digital only. But apparently that is not exactly what gamers are wanting just yet. Interesting. I'm surprised that the number is that high.
Well, especially since digital sales are like what, 70% or more of all video games, right?
I don't know. I do not know. Um
When's the last time you put a disc into a console?
uh well, a disc, because recently I have only been playing on my Switch when I've played a console game. Switch is the only console I've played for months. So um I do have some physical Switch carts. I always try and buy physical Switch carts when I can, but that's not a disc. So I haven't played my Xbox or my PlayStation in quite some time.
Mm.
But
I feel like I love it. Like I love this because it's kind of a slap in the face to Sony because
it
they're
is,
like, we
yeah.
want to charge you just as much money or actually even more money by taking that disc tray out of the console. And I feel like gamers are like, no, 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 no. Everyone buy the disc one. Yeah, bought that one. Buy that one instead.
It goes back to the conversations that we've had over and over on this podcast about the how the digital future removes control. It removes your actual ownership of the games. Um, it takes away the user's ability to trade a game, to sell a game, to the ownership is not there. You're buying
Mm,
a license to use the product, you're not buying the product.
mm.
And then game companies can do whatever they like with it. They can pull it off the storefronts, disable your ability to play the game, disable your ability to download it. It's horrible.
There's another thing that I just thought about here, Shalene, is that disc games provide more flexibility for people, and um, not just the utility of having a physical copy to be able to play in case there's an apocalypse, um, but removing disc options from consoles actually um, garnishes opportunities for people of lower income status to actually play video games, because a
Because
lot
they're
of
not able to buy a used game.
they can't buy a used copy, right? You can't buy a used digital copy, right? That's not a thing.
Right.
So like a lot of people who can't afford to drop 80, $100 on a game can go to GameStop and pick up a used copy for like $30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Or I could loan you my copy.
or you could loan me your copy and
Mm-hmm.
you'll never get it back, but that's another thing. Uh, I would like to see used digital copies. Let's do
That
that.
would be an interesting take.
But like what?
Um,
How is it used? Is it scratched? You scratched my digital
mhm.
copy, you know?
So I think I feel like there was a push for that at some point.
Well, it was, and then it turned into being able to rent a game, right?
Mhm.
Or like subscribe for whatever, seven
I know
days or
on Kindle for a while, I don't know if this is still a feature, but you could loan a Kindle title to somebody else. Like if I had your Kindle, the email address associated with your Kindle account, I could loan you one of my Kindle books,
yeah.
and like I wouldn't be able to access it while you had it. And then after a certain amount of time.
The other thing I would like to see about this 85% is what is the demographic of these consumers? Are they predominantly people in their 30s and 40s?
I don't know.
Are they
I don't know.
predominantly people that were raised on disc
It's been quite a
games?
while since I've looked at the demographics of console purchases. But,
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah. Do you want to talk about
interesting.
this last one?
Sure.
Okay. Steam Deck is not planning to have yearly refreshes because it's not really fair to customers, says Valve. This is a Eurogamer.net article by Ed Nightingale. And this device will finally be available to purchase in Australia in November. That's pretty cool. Two of the Steam Deck's designers from Valve, Lawrence Yang and Yazan Aldiat, were interviewed by reviews.org, and they discussed the trend of yearly hardware refreshes. And this is a quote from Yang. It is important to us, and we've tried to be really clear. We are not doing the yearly cadence. We're not going to do a bump every year. There's no reason to do that. And honestly, from our perspective, that's kind of not really fair to your customers to come out with something so soon that's only incrementally better. So we really do want to wait for a generational leap in compute without sacrificing battery life before we ship the real second generation of Steam Deck. But it is something we're excited about and working on.
Hmm.
I love that. I think that is a really great approach to it. The more that I learn about Steam Deck, the more interested I am, the more that I think it's an incredible product. And I know we've had RTZ in the Discord just really championing this
Mm-hmm.
device for a long time. But honestly, seeing it in real life is what made me really interested in the Steam Deck. My boss has one, and I've watched him play some games on it, and it feels kind of magical. So, um, yeah, the more I see, the more I think Steam Deck is a pretty cool device. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean
that's a
the
great customer friendly attitude to have.
I think I've gotten to the point with hardware where the right time to upgrade your hardware is when your existing hardware doesn't fulfill your needs anymore.
Yes, I agree
There's
with that.
virtually no reason for you to buy the next best thing if your current thing
Just because
works
it's
just
better.
fine. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I understand that bloat is bad, especially on Android, and that they've been in the industry long enough to see its effects. But Valve is probably the model private gaming company should that other companies should probably aim to be. Um, because it's a small, incredibly skilled and team of individuals, and it's lucrative enough to fund any passion project that they can dream up, right? And not only that, but bringing out more different models will actually take away support from some of the older models, right? And I don't think that that's really great for anybody, even Valve specifically. But I mean, yeah,
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I I don't want to beat the Apple drum, but I'm going to beat the Apple drum. This is why I buy Apple, because
Hmm.
I can get 7, 8 years out of a phone without
Hmm.
needing to replace it. It's paid for itself over and over and over and over again. And I'm not one of those people that's like, I need the next best thing because of it has a zero point 0.3 more megapixels in the camera than it did last year.
What's the current iPhone? Is it the 16?
I don't know. I think it's
Mm.
16. Yeah.
About a month ago, my mom finally traded in her 6 Plus.
Those are obsolete now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I upgraded from a 6S Plus to a 13, and I went into the Apple store, and the girl's like, "Yeah, we're really starting to see a lot of 8s now." And I was like, "Oh, girl, this is a 6." She was like, "That should be in a museum." And I'm like, "It still works fine, okay?" But
Amazing.
yeah, so oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I got an email about the Apple class action lawsuit the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and my claim has been accepted and is being processed.
Ah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure how much
Pretty
money
soon you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
get.
that Apple money.
Yeah, that sweet, sweet Apple money. Um, it'll probably be like $15. Maybe I could go to the
Mm-hmm.
movies by myself.
And drink
Maybe
water.
I could order half a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Some people were saying it could be up to $350 per
That
claim,
would be cool. Yeah,
and
that's pretty big for a class action lawsuit.
I
It's
made
usually very small.
I made 2 claims because I have 2 6S pluses.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
There you go.
two serial numbers. It almost makes me want to like go around to all the thrift shops and like buy all the 6S pluses and then make a claim. You know?
I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, that's it for the news. That's all we've got.
Let's roll into the stocks. Stocks are a bit of a mess because we haven't talked about them for like ever. But Sony closed out at 1762, which in comparison to the previous week is empty because I had wrongfully reported that stock price the last time. Microsoft closed out at 428.15, up $12.09. Nintendo down 9 cents at 13.12. Take Two down $6.49 at 145.20. EA up $2.50 at 145.20, and Tencent down $6.62 at 54.05. Roblox Corp holding strong, up just 15 cents despite all of the bad press at 42.14. And that is Gamestack for this episode of Gamestack podcast. Or sorry, stock, GameStock. Let's open some mail. Do we have mail?
You've got
We do
mail.
have some mail. Let me
Yes.
scroll back a bit because we've got to scroll back a bit. Okay, I should have done this ahead of time.
Oh boy, we really need to
Scroll,
scroll
scroll,
back.
scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh my goodness gracious.
RTZ typing until his
Okay,
fingers
here we
bleed.
go. Here we go.
Okay.
We talked about Chris Drake's conversation about if we'd had a big console or hardware jump. I just forgot to put the little check marks. So here's one from Alexandra. And she says, so while AI can be pretty creepy and concerning, is there anything you would actually like AI to do? I have only one desire from AI. I want the audiobooks for Harry Potter, still narrated by Jim Dale, but the dialogue actually in the voices from the movies, at least any of them that had actors, of course. I have fallen asleep to the audiobooks ever since the books on cassette tape times and still do to this day. And Jim is amazing at voice variety, don't get me wrong, but I was just listening to his interpretation of Professor Snape and all I wanted was to hear Alan Rickman. Um
Mm.
that is interesting. Let's see what responses we have. Green Camp says, I would probably say they would need to contact the estate of Mr. Rickman or even get permission to digitally modify for the product to get him to narrate the book or whatever. And Alex says it doesn't have to be a practical want because, of course, they'd have to contact everyone involved. But that is her want that she's well aware will never happen. It's just a dream. Um, let's see. Fire and Gasoline thinks it may be possible if you have the correct AI engine. That would probably be pretty wildly illegal. Well, we're scrolling through that. Okay.
Well, I would like to see books that have, made it out of copyright. Like, can we hear the voice of Jane Austen as predicted by AI?
Interesting.
What about Mary Shelley or
I
Washington Irving, Shakespeare?
don't know. I feel like in terms of audiobooks, you're never I don't think that AI will ever reach the ability to do an audiobook better than an actor. I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
we will never reach the point where an audiobook would
There's
be better.
unpredictable mannerisms in voice and things like that,
Mhm.
right? Tone and inflection that only a certain person
Yeah.
raised on a certain background in a certain life can bring into their speech, right?
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of audiobooks and I feel pretty strongly that we will never replace humans for the narration of audiobooks. But we'll see. I mean, I might be wrong. Um RTZ says that his wish is that at work he could say, Chat GPT, find all the bull in this 100-page document. Thanks.
I mean,
That sounds like a way to make life a lot easier with AI.
it could kind of do that already to a certain extent. I mean, it depends on the document, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's see here. What would be here's a good one. Schneewolf says, unrealistically, I'd like AI to constantly port game classics to new hardware. Yes, this is such a good one. Like, I want to play old Pokemon games on Switch, Time Splitters 2 on current gen consoles, outside of the Homefront Revolution Easter egg, which is still insanely wild. It'd provide us with a bunch of good old games, and all the studio's devs can work on new projects. That is such a good dream, Schneewolf. I love that. Realistically, her realistic dream is AI seems to be pretty good at text to speech. I'd like to talk to AI to take notes in puzzle games without stopping what I'm doing. Boring, but useful. That is not boring at all. To just be able to it that feels like Star Trek, like computer, make a note.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. Um,
I mean, I will say that AI is very useful for skipping the entire blog post and just getting to the recipe of
mhm,
of a dish that you're trying to make. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to read about your fancy life and how you
mhm.
arrived at the whole day of getting to this point of cooking this meal.
Yes, I
We
went in and
just want the
harvested the
recipe.
cocoa beans
We just
to
want the
make the
recipe.
chocolate chip cookies. What would you do with AI? What would be your dream thing to do with for AI to do?
Personal assistant,
Hmm.
somebody to keep me from, destroying myself, self
Yeah.
sabotaging. AI has been extremely useful in my career. It has been a writing assistant. It has been a mental health therapist. It has been a planner. It has, to a certain extent, been a personal assistant as well. So, why are you making that face?
Archon just did a real deep cut here. So we were talking about making notes for puzzle games, right? And he posts, "Don't feed the parrot chocolate," which I don't know if you remember this moment, but in what was that game called? What was it called? The Council. Yes.
Oh yeah.
In the council, we fed the parrot chocolate and it died. And I'm still bitter about it. I'm so sorry I killed the parrot.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm cross with him for reminding me that I murdered a parrot
Gosh.
in video games.
What about you, Shalene?
I
What about you? AI.
I think what I want from AI is for it to be able to we're pretty much there with what I want from AI. Like I can ask, I was in my car the other day and I just asked Siri when Target closed and she told me.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much that kind of thing
Yeah.
is what I want from
Personal
AI.
assistant. Personal
Yeah.
assistant. Yep.
I and maybe that just means I have small dreams, but I most other uses of AI that are projected, I find a little terrifying.
AI is very useful for navigating the day-to-day life. Like, I could be like, "Hey, I've got this 22-pound turkey that is fresh, not
Mhm.
frozen. How long
How
do I
long
have
do I
to
need to
cook it
cook it?
at
Mhm.
325?" And it'll be like, "This temperature is probably the best based on
Mhm.
thousands of sources of literature." I'm
Yes.
like, "Yes, thank you."
What about, okay, here's one. What about the ability of AI to be your player too, or your opposition if you don't have someone to help you play a video game?
How
Because
cool. How cool would that be?
mhm, sometimes you don't have someone available to play with you,
Because
or
sometimes someone has COVID or they're stuck on the
sometimes someone's had
interstate
COVID. Yeah, or they're
or
stuck on the
it's been a
interstate.
week.
And I'm tired. Yes, I feel very attacked right now. But I feel like and sometimes you just don't want to interact with another human being. But
Wow. Whew.
that would be an interesting use of AI, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bullseye.
there, pardon, what did you say? Bullseye?
I said
Oh
bullseye.
no, that's not how I meant it. But there is additionally some other conversation here, and
Okay.
RTZ posted a
Okay.
quiz, but I think let's save the quiz for next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll give me some time to think about it because it is quite the
Mhm.
novel.
Yes.
Okay. That should have given me enough time to cue the screenshots and stories, but of course I don't do those things. So
That's okay. That's okay. Screenshots and stories.
screenshots and stories. Uh there we go. All right, now this looks a little bit weird. There's some sausage and like some pumpkins and this purple glowy thing in the middle. You might be wondering. Well, Shalene, I played Deep Rock Galactic with Frankie a couple weekends ago and her
Nice.
husband, and it was such a fun Saturday afternoon. That was the day that you had the community event
Yeah,
and you weren't
it
going to
was
be
one of the
home in
Pokemon
time. Yeah.
events. Yeah.
Anyways, it was so fun. This is Frankie and I goofing around in the lobby. There is a beer that you can drink that will turn you into mimics.
That
So
is so much fun.
yeah, so Frankie is this crystal, and I'm this barrel in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then her husband had to come and find us. And you get these balls with a giant question mark on them, and you've got to throw them at objects, and
Mm.
it kind of like reveals the person. It's so
So
fun.
this is a little bit like Prop Hunt from Gary's Mon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you'll notice all of the fall paraphernalia lying around. There's a giant pretzel and some pumpkins and a sausage. And the pretzels and the sausages are inflatable, so they have a little inlet for the mouthpiece to blow air into it. It's so cute.
I don't know if it's just that I didn't have dinner before the show, but that pretzel looks delicious.
Yeah. And we did this one mission where you've got to build these pipelines, and you drop down into this in this pod. It's called a drop pod. But it was so funny because we figured out that you can build a pipeline going into the drop pod. And there's two railings you can see on the top of the pipeline. Well, you can ride the railings like a roller coaster. So this image is of Frankie's husband riding the railing into the drop pod on the makeshift pipe
Wow.
that I had built. It's so cute. And here's another shot of the pipe just totally taking over the.
That's amazing.
So funny.
The beards in Deep Rock Galactic are so majestic.
Okay, and this was all of our hard work for the 3 hours of play we had. These are our ridiculously phallic sausage
Mhm.
hats that we've earned. Look at
Wow.
these
And
hats.
they are stuffed in like tubas,
French horns.
French horns. Why are the sausages stuffed in French horns?
I have no idea, but that's a pretty good hat, right?
That's an
Yeah.
amazing hat.
Yeah.
That is an amazing hat.
We were laughing pretty hard. Oh, and here's some of the sausages and the beer steins and the
Mm-hmm.
stuffs and the sunflowers, and yeah, it was really cute.
It's really
This
fun.
next image comes to us from, I think, RTZ13. Can you explain this to the listeners? This one?
This looks like some farming is happening. We are planting
Oh, this
some
is Schneewolf.
cabbages, perhaps.
Schneewolf says I might be a bit hooked on medieval dynasty. Built my first village by the lake, and it's starting to be self-sufficient.
There's some really neat mushrooms here. I wonder if the mushrooms are harvestable.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah. Here's a couple from RTZ13. He says, Skyrim, still as great as years ago. No mods, just the anniversary edition. And
Lydia, get out of the door.
yeah, exactly. He's in front of a tavern here, and then also here's a good shot of
Oh my
a
gosh.
skeleton
What a great
torso,
Easter egg.
skeleton torso sticking out of the ceiling. And
Mhm.
then there's some bones on the ground with a sword. What Easter egg is this, Shalene? Help me out here.
Star Wars. Luke in the Wampa cave. Is it Wampa? Is that what
Oh,
it's called? The Wampa?
yeah.
But he's got his feet and he gets the lightsaber and
That's
yeah,
right.
that's plainly that's the Easter egg,
Yeah.
right? Unless I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah. Also, this one, beautiful landscape. You can
So
always
pretty.
count on Skyrim to have great mountains.
So pretty.
And this one here,
Ooh,
can you
he's
explain this to the
slain
listeners?
a dragon. We've got a dragon head on the ground there. It says search of Vuljotnak. And he's got his eye open and everything. So he doesn't really look dead. He looks like he's just like comfortably laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you're enjoying a nice conversation with this dragon. Oh, he's riding a horse in this one, and the horse's face is like turned towards the camera, like he's also participating.
Yes, also very proud. Yeah,
Very cute.
so good. This is another from. Oh no, this is
No,
actually
this is cabbages, but
RTZ13.
it's Skyrim cabbages. See
Yeah,
the
it's the week of
the
cabbage.
HUD there? Yeah.
I don't know who did it better, medieval
Who
dynasty
wore it best?
or Skyrim. Those are
One of
some
us is
pretty
gonna
good
have to go home and
cabbages.
change.
A couple more. I love a good fishing picture. This one,
Mhm.
very good. All foggy, mountains in the background.
You know, I don't think I've actually played Skyrim since they added the fishing. I think I've maybe played it, but I haven't done the fishing.
Mm. And a good one from Alex. She says sunflowers in the Hufflepuff common room. This is
Yay for
a
sunflowers.
obligatory sunflower post for Shalene. And here is one of the whole fam. She says the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft. This is Alex's, by the way. We have all been playing since the beta release, left to right. Mom, dad, me, Zephyr, and no, sorry, my dad, me, Zephyr, and my mom.
That's
So
fantastic. I think it's amazing that World of Warcraft has been going for that long.
I know it is crazy. Also, here is another shot of the 20th anniversary balloons in World of Warcraft. It's
Very
great.
cute.
I love it. And this great shot from Green Camps. He says one of the transmog competitions asked for a classic look. And he's got his character here with horns and
I think
a
those are technically antlers.
right antlers. Sorry, I just default. Look how big those feet are.
Mhm.
Those are just some ginormous boots.
This is a pretty good look.
I love it. It's
I'm
good.
a fan.
Also, this one from Taz. This is Fallout. He
Looks
says
like Fallout 4.
playing with a bow mod showing bow in Fallout 4, which played and felt like a Fallout 76. Played William Tell with Super Mutant and Oops Missed the Apple.
The super mutant head is pinned to the lintel of the door.
And also this shot using a mod for both clothing and where Nora survived, showing Nora fighting in black crop top, miniskirt, and knee-high boots.
That's kind of fun, the idea of having both parents out wandering the wasteland together.
Yeah.
I like that.
And a power armor picture, it would not be complete without a mod where a raider with an obsession with Giddy Up Buttercup created Giddy Up Buttercup armor, allowing to run faster and jump higher. It's
Amazing.
pretty good. Yeah, I love that the head of the Giddy Up Buttercup is on the top of the
Mhm.
power armor helmet, and then the servos for the shoulders. That's pretty good.
That's beautifully done. Isn't the Giddy Up Buttercup power armor, isn't that one of the official mods? Like, I feel like that's Creation Club.
Possibly.
Really good. And I think it neighs when you
Mm-hmm.
wear it.
We don't have. We only have one GameStack challenge post, and the previous GameStack challenge was to dust off a game from your stack, Stacktoberfest. It's still October, so we're going to compile these images for the next episode of GameStack and go through them in November. But so far we have one, and it's from Seder. So Seder is pulling their weight. Everyone else, you've got to dust a game off of your stack that you haven't played for a while, and celebrate Stacktober with us. You can
Sounds
post
good.
those by posting them in the GameStack channel in the We Just Love Games Discord. Anyways,
Fantastic.
let's take a little different direction with things and talk about what we've been playing the last little while. So I've really only been playing Animal Crossing New Horizon. It is fall. Fall is definitely here. Winter is coming. You can tell. But I have all of my Halloween stuff out. I've got my pumpkins and my arches and my scarecrows. It's really great. I'm handing out candy to people. Not actual candy, like I'm handing them little Halloween
Hmm.
buckets so that they can go trick or treating.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very cute. And I'm just decorating and waiting for Jack to show up on my island. I'm very excited to see Jack again this year. And that's pretty much all I've been playing. It's been kind of a little bit busy for me to be playing anything else really. So, oh, I've actually
What?
also been diving into the new Arkansas DLC in American Truck Simulator. Though I was expecting there to be more pirates, because Arkansas.
Arc.
Uh,
Okay. I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. I was not clever enough. That's a pretty good one.
That's my dry dead inside humor.
Mhm.
Carry on.
Hey, one of my coworkers told me a dad joke yesterday, and I'm going to share it with you. What do you call a moose with no name? Anonymous.
That's good. That's very good, Shannon.
Yeah, I was really delighted with that one. Yeah. So
Anonymous.
my life has been really hard for the last little while, and I have not played very many video games, but that doesn't mean I haven't spent a large amount of time playing video games. I have sunk hours and hours of my life into Pokemon Go. And I imagine that you're all very tired of hearing about Pokemon Go. And yet the
how the
obsession
how the
continues.
turns have tabled, because now I'm talking about nothing but Animal Crossing. And you
Uh-huh. I guys, I'm playing so much Pokemon Go, like all the time. All the time. It's the only thing I'm living for right now is Pokemon Go. Right now there's the major Halloween event going on, and that's been really fun. And um there are a lot of like ghost type Pokemon that are available. I'm really excited to try and do a Gigantamax raid tomorrow. This weekend is the debut of the Gigantamax Pokemon. Um, we've been doing every Tuesday. There's a spotlight hour where they focus on one Pokemon
Mm.
for an hour, and then on Wednesdays there's a raid hour where they focus on doing raids for an hour. And we've been doing the events like all the time. And it's been really so good for my mental health. Like it's giving me basically like this is not quite as dire as it sounds, but it's giving me a reason to keep going, if you know what I mean. Like it's I'm not in that dire of a situation. I just, but it's really been fun. And being able to do the research tasks has, it hits the same part of my brain as the as doing achievements, you know. So
Mm.
um
I
I've
kind of
really
figured that
enjoyed
that
doing the
was.
research
I
tasks.
kind of figured that's the case.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you would have left it in the dust long ago.
Hmm.
So.
So yeah, I'm still absolutely obsessed with Pokemon Go. So jump, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, jump into the Pokemon channel on the Discord, and I have pinned the friend codes of everybody who has posted their friend code in there. So if you'd like to hang out with us, please feel free to do that.
Mm.
You meaning, of course, you, vendor, and also anybody out there in Listenerlandia who would like to play Pokemon Go. So we've been doing some remote raids with some of our friends from the internet. Jesse did a raid with us, and we did one with God of Radio the other
Oh,
day.
that's
That was really
fun.
fun. So
God of Radio is
yeah.
one of Rick's colleagues, isn't it?
No, God of Radio is from the old days. He's
Oh.
yeah, yeah. Um, he's been with us since QGN.
Wow.
So mhm.
Ew, QGN.
I
Ugh.
know, right?
Don't say
I
that
know.
too loud. Things might
Yeah.
happen. Hmm.
Don't want to curse us, but
Yeah.
I actually got to
Wait,
meet God of
I have a
Radio in real
button for
life one
that.
time.
QGN.
Ew!
But that's really it. I've just been playing a ton of Pokemon Go. I'm yeah, really enjoying it. So
That's good. Well, hopefully you have some downtime this weekend and it's not going to be as crazy. Hopefully you can get. Did you get to see your niece at all? Are you going to get to see her this weekend?
I didn't. I'll probably check in on her this weekend, but she's
Yeah.
doing okay. So
Shalene's niece had some teeth surgeries done on her teeth.
yeah, she's all right.
So she
So
was hoping to get to see her, but she didn't. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to do that
mhm,
this weekend and
yeah.
get some much needed rest so that we can have you for November 1st.
Mhm,
November 1st is going to be an interesting day because that's the day that I start my new job.
mhm.
So
Yes.
yeah, I'll let you know.
Anyway, I think that's a show.
That's a show. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee, and $2 from every purchase. That blend goes to Children's Miracle Network. Email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. We love to hear from you. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games. We are on facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. But the best way to get a hold of us in real time is on the Discord. Join our Discord by navigating to twitch.tv/We Just Love Games and going to the About section where you can find the link to our Discord server. We love you all. We love that you support the show and listen to us after the fact, but we also love those individuals who come in live on Fridays for the live recording at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Right here on Twitch. We're also on YouTube, iTunes, Apple, Google, and Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. We will shout you out. Thank you all for listening. And Shalene, what's your last word?
Alexa, play Gamestack podcast.